Hello and welcome to this tutorial for how to use your work laptop for Flex Live instruction. So first things first, even if you're going to be primarily using your work laptop for Flex Live instruction, perhaps for example, you have files that you prefer to use from your laptop, such as a PowerPoint, rather than accessing them via the cloud on the Podium computer. Even if you want to use your work laptop for Flex Live instruction, you need to set up your Podium computer at the beginning of the class. This is because all of the audio and video for Flex Live instruction is done through the Podium computer. Those wall-mounted cameras, those microphones that are hanging from the ceilings, they can only be controlled through the Podium computer. They cannot be controlled through your work laptop. The only reason you'll use your work laptop, ideally for Flex Live instruction, is if you want to control what the Zoom students and in-person students see. Okay, so let's imagine that we've already got our Podium computer set up and we've logged into our Zoom account, our work Zoom account on the Podium computer. We've checked the audio and video. Everything's good to go. The next thing you'll do is go to your work computer and log into that exact same Zoom account. You can have Zoom active on more than one device at the same time with the same account. Just make sure it's your St. Mary's account. In this example, I'm just going to click New Meeting because I'm using my default Zoom account. Okay, so a lot going on here. First of all, sure, I'll join with my computer audio, but very important, you want to make sure that your computer is muted. So it's muted right there. And you want to make sure that Zoom is muted as well on your work laptop. Now, the Podium computer's audio will not be muted at all. However, for the benefit of this tutorial, so we won't get reverb, we are going to have the Podium computer muted just for this tutorial, but it should not be muted when you're using it. So your work laptop's going to say, hey, you need to turn up your volume. No, you don't. Just close that out. The next question you want to answer is, do you want to reclaim host? Do you want to make your work laptop the only host? Or do you want to have a co-host option where your Podium computer remains the host, but now your work laptop is also the Zoom host? You want to do that. You want to be able to control Zoom from your work laptop and your Podium computer. I'll show you why in a bit. Okay, now the reason that I have this very interesting view of the classroom is so you can see what the in-person students will see when it comes to Flex Live instruction. And this will be roughly analogous to what the Zoom students will see for the purpose of this demonstration. So let's imagine that you want to share PowerPoint. And just so you know, if you're like me and you have a whole bunch of stuff open, just click on the Show All Windows and you'll see more things that you can screen share. So let's click on that. Share. Wonderful. So from the perspective of your work laptop, you've got all this very busy stuff going on. And we've already learned how you can get rid of the control bar if you want to by hiding floating meeting controls. So let's do that. And we can minimize this so you're not distracted by seeing the students. However, I want to show you real quick from the perspective of the Zoom students and the in-person students. They're going to see something like this. Here is your PowerPoint screen, and here are the Zoom students tuning in. We have here this letter A is an imaginary Zoom student. This figure of me at the bottom is the Podium computer account. And then you have here this screen of a self-view where we can see what this larger image is showing. We're going to want to hide that eventually. Okay. However, let's say you want to toggle how things appear. You cannot easily control that from your work laptop. So we're going to control things via the Podium computer. But what you can't control from the Podium computer, again, is what you've opened on your Podium computer. So for example, this slideshow. So let's start from current slide. So from your work laptop, you're going to see just this unobstructed view, wonderful, of a PowerPoint slide. But again, students see something like this. So I'm going to walk over to the Podium computer. I'll be off camera, but you can see what I'm doing by looking at the screen. So let's say, for example, I want to have a better view of the students. I can toggle with my mouse the window there. Let's say, for example, I want to have the students a little on top. You can do that as well. Let's say I don't want to see the students, I just want to see myself or whoever is talking at the time. You can do that as well. I tend to prefer this view, but that's just personal preference. Let's say, for example, that you prefer, make this bigger so you can see the change I'm going to do, prefer to not see all of this stuff at the bottom right here. What you can do is go to View and go to Full Screen. Great, now we don't see all the other apps that I have open. All we see is the Zoom screen. Wonderful. So we have a PowerPoint going on. We have a relatively small view of the students from the side. You can still see the Zoom students from the in-person perspective. The last thing I recommend you do is hide the self-view so you don't see this kind of double unnecessary image, which can be a little bit distracting. So I recommend you just do this view. Again, that's personal preference. And now all we see here is an image of the PowerPoint and the students who are participating. Now, in other tutorials, you can see there's other more complex things you can do, like sharing a view of the students from the front camera via more advanced sharing, all that kind of stuff. There's other stuff you can do, but let's just keep it simple for this. Thanks very much.